Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a video where I am going to be ranking my top 32 running backs in the NFL. But first, I would like to talk about something really quick. All of next week and probably some of this week are going to be pre-recorded videos. Going on my final trip of the summer, but I want you guys to know this because on Twitter right now, there are 2 tweets out that I'm going to make videos from for you guys to participate in. One post is called Over or Underrated. I have you guys tweet at me players and I give my opinions on them. And the other is about fantasy football. It's fantasy predictions, takes, questions. Also, feel free to hit this comment section up. I'm not going to promise that I'm going to use a bunch from here since I do this on Twitter. But for those who seriously don't want to make an account, I want to give you guys some opportunity. And super fast, before we actually hop into the video, we are going to run through my plugs. So don't forget to use code Wyatt's World on G Fuel, Waggle, or Prize Picks. By using my codes on G Fuel or Waggle, you can save a discount on any of their awesome products. And you can also use it at sign up on Prize Picks to guarantee yourself to win a free $50 with your first $5 entry. NFL prediction windows are now open. Okay, I promise I'm done yapping now. Let's get into the video. Okay guys, so here we are at the bottom of the list, and I just want to mention this is not a starting running back only list. This is my top 32, so there's probably a team or two that might not be mentioned in here. Apologize, just get better. So starting with number 32, and by the way, I don't think this is actually the player, but they didn't have him on this list. Give me Jerome Ford. Yeah, that's definitely not him. This is Jerome Ford, but I'm going to use that picture. Jerome Ford, in my opinion, deserves to make this list because he has stepped in for Cleveland on multiple occasions now. And he has at minimum served as a serviceable running back. The guy doesn't fumble, he's a decent pass catcher, a productive runner. If he's the guy who has to run your football, you could be in a lot worse of a situation. 31, give me Tyrone Tracy. If this guy would stop fumbling the ball, he would be an electric running back, dude. He was throwing on some great performances last season. He has a chance to be the guy in New York. He really needs to prove it this year, or he's gonna be the next Antonio Gibson, and I don't mean that in a good way. 30, give me Tank Bigsby. Now, the only really downside I saw this guy last year is the fact that he isn't a pass catcher. I think he had 7 receptions on the entire year. But when it comes to running, he was at 4.5 yards a carry. He had 7 touchdowns. He had over 700 yards. Now, unfortunately for him too, he kind of fumbles the ball a little bit, and I think that's why he's not listed as the RB1 on the depth chart, but that'll change by week 2 or probably halfway through week 1. 29, give me Kenneth Walker. People are not gonna like that one over there. But what reason do I have to put him higher, man? He has just ascended from his rookie year. He has gotten worse and worse. Last year, week 1, he had that great game, and after that, if he doesn't have like a big bounce back this year, man, I don't think he's gonna be a starter anymore. 28, give me DeAndre Swift. I didn't want to put him this low, but it's just another factor, kind of like the Tua one, where I would just rather have so many different players than him. You know, he's got that dual threat capability in him, but he's just not that great of a player. I also don't think he's a smart running back, and he's pretty much entirely dependent on his own line. 27, give me Rachaad White. Now, I think he's underrated and I think he's underappreciated, and I'm probably doing both of those things to him right now. I've understood the fact that he is not the world's most productive runner, but I think how effective he is in the receiving game makes it worth it to have him on your team. He's definitely an asset. I think he's like a lesser version of Alvin Kamara. This is a guy that'll get you at least 1,000 scrimmage yards a year if you give him the opportunity. 26, give me Uncle Rico. Honestly, shocks me Dallas did not want to retain him because now he's going to go and be a number 2 to Chuba Hubbard. Excellent compliment, but last year this guy had over 1,000 rushing yards for Dallas. Over 4 yards a carry. Another guy who could probably have better ball security, but he's also another guy who can catch the ball. He had 3 receiving touchdowns and a couple hundred receiving yards last year. Like, he was pretty productive if you're asking me. Moving on to 25, give me Brian Robinson Jr. He's a decent running back. I know I was really harsh on him, but last year and the year before, actually, I think he's definitely proven me wrong. He's a productive runner. Coming off a year where he had a career high, I think, in just about every category. I think the situation he's in is about perfect. 24, give me Jordan Mason. Man, am I so excited that Minnesota got him. Matter of fact, you know how confident I am that he's just gonna be a monster? I'll throw some money on it. 600 rushing yards, done. Forgot I have to do 2. Let's do Jamar Chase touchdowns. Boom, easiest 60 bucks I've ever made. Dude, he was so good last year when he was used in a role where he got at least 10 or more carries. Matter of fact, in 6 of the 7 games, he received at least 10 or more carries at minimum. He had 70 yards, and in 3 of those games, he had over 100 yards and a touchdown. Perfect compliment for Aaron Jones and a perfect guy to take over the role. 23, give me J.K. Dobbins. He had a good year last year. Kind of surprises me that they just let him go. Now he joins the Broncos, where I imagine him and RJ Harvey are going to be a pretty good 1-2 pop. And as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be an effective player because he always has been. Moving on to 22, give me Najee Harris, one of the most overhated running backs in my lifetime. The best way to put Najee Harris is he's like a middle ground between DeAndre Swift and James Conner. Like, that's the best way I can put it. Not the most explosive runner, no. Not the most athletic looking runner, no. But he's consistent, man, over 1,000 yards every year so far. I think he's just got to take lessons from Derrick Henry on how to apply his size to his momentum. 21, give me Tony Pollard. Another just, middle of the pack guy. Now, I think if they would use him as a receiving back more so what they did with him in Dallas, he'd be better off on Tennessee, but you gotta appreciate Tony for what he is. 3 straight seasons now, he's been over 1,000 yards, over 5 touchdowns, or at least 5, I should say. He's a hustler, he's a grinder. 20, give me Breece Hall, and I know I've went over this before, but I think the guy's just a little overrated, and I know I helped contribute to that last preseason. Now, while I do think he is pretty darn good when it comes to getting open down the field and catching passes, when it comes to his running, I think he has just as many stinkers as he does good games. 19, give me Joe Mixon. I'm not moved by him. I just think he's bleh. Like, he's fine, but I certainly wouldn't prioritize having him or maintaining him as a #1 running back at this stage in his career especially. And there are people out there in my comments who have said, I underrate him because he's coming off the best season of his career. No, he's not. He's at least 3 seasons better than the one he just had. And while I do give him respect for, hanging on as a starting running back this long in his career compared to other guys in his draft like Zeke and Dalvin Cook, I definitely don't think he's as fast, and I definitely don't think he is as explosive as he once was. 18, give me David Montgomery. I think this guy's a bell cow. Not the flashiest running back, but he is one of the stronger, I think. This guy will run right through anybody. He's also a running back who can catch the ball quite effectively. A matter of fact, if you didn't know this, David Montgomery has had over 1,000 scrimmage yards every single season he has played in the NFL. And that's counting 4 seasons on one of the worst teams in the league. This man's probably underrated at 18. 17, give me Ashton Genty, and I know he hasn't played it down yet, but I am pretty confident that this guy is going to be a game-changing running back to the NFL. I think he will be just like Marshawn Lynch. A little shorter than Marshawn, who already wasn't a tall guy, but he'll be able to move the ball like a tidal wave, and I think Pete Carroll knows that too. 16, give me Alvin Kamara. Was he also in the same class as Delvin and Mixon and Zeke, or were they in different classes? I might have mixed that up. Anyway, still old, still gold. Alvin Kamara is rolling as good as he always has been. And he's also a running back that, even though he is a good runner in my opinion, you can't just look at his running stuff. He's a guy you have to look at his receiving. Every single year, he's at least 400 receiving yards. Every year in the NFL, he's at over 1,000 scrimmage yards, and it's been since 2017. 15, give me Devon Achane. I think he is quite a good running back. He had over 70 receptions last year. Matter of fact, I think Miami would probably be a better football team if they gave him more carries than what they do. Crazy explosive runner, man. He's really fun to watch. 14, give me Chase Brown. I know I'm too high on him to a lot of people, but I'm just so impressed with what he accomplished last year in the amount of time he accomplished it in. He had 990 yards, 7 touchdowns, 300 plus receiving yards, and 4 receiving touchdowns. I think he's gonna kind of maybe turn into like the next Chuba Hubbard. 13, give me Aaron Jones. I want to know what this guy's been eating to make him stay so good for so long. 30, and he's just as good as he always has been. Well, okay, probably lost 1 step, but that's it. Still one of the most productive runners in the league. Still one of the most useful running backs in the league. The guy had 1,500 scrimmage yards last year, and he was supposed to be washed. 12, give me James Conner, another silent killer in both real football and fantasy. Extremely underrated. He's also kind of like Aaron Jones. He's been around for a long time, and I think he is just as good, if not better, than he always has been. This guy's got to be Le'Veon Bell's biggest fan, man, because the day Le'Veon Bell decided that he was going to hold out was the day James Conner was born as a starter in the NFL. Moving on to 11 now, I'm gonna have to go with Bucky Irving, and it's really hard to put him this low, man. There's just a lot of good running backs right now, but he was so unbelievable last year. I mean, he was a fantasy league winner. I know that because I had the guy and I won, but he was also just one of the best players in the league. Over 1,100 yards, 5.5 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns. This will caught for like 300 yards. And he would have had more, but he didn't explode until about the halfway point, if I remember correctly. Number 10, give me Chuba Hubbard. This is the guy that I set the record straight with like a year ago now. We're on good terms. We're cool. But this guy was also just like one of the better players in the league, and I'm just talking total. He's on the Carolina Panthers, who struggled until the very end, and he had 10 touchdowns, almost 1,200 yards, 43 receptions, almost 5 yards a carry. He's another guy that I like his size too. He's big. I'm not sure how tall he is exactly, but I would guess close to 6'2". He's got a nice contract coming his way. 9, give me James Cook. I mean, he is so electric, so fast, so productive, so elusive. When he touches the ball, I feel like 90% of the time it's for something significant. He's just like his brother, both as a player and the fact that they're greedy pigs. But like I said, with more carries, this guy, he's a top 5 running back. Number 8, give me Christian McCaffrey. He'll gonna be a good running back if he can just play the game. Guy's always gonna be just a monumental what if he would have stayed healthy his entire career. He probably would have gone down as the greatest running back ever, but the problem is he's just always hurt. He's always got something wrong with him. And I mean, it sucks, it does. When it comes to talent, I mean, he might be one of the most talented, if not the most talented running back I've ever seen outside of Saquon Barkley of last year. He does everything so well. Just made of glass. 7, give me Kyren Williams, definitely one of the best running backs in football. Runs the ball into the ground. I mean, over 300 carries, 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns. He also returns kicks. Perfect combination of speed and power. He kind of reminds me of Nick Chubb. Speaking of Nick Chubb, coming in at number 6, I'm just kidding. 6 is Josh Jacobs. Another guy that absolutely just pounded the rock last year, dude. Over 300 carries. That's not the first time he's done that either. He's always just been a grinder. 15 touchdowns, over 1,300 yards, over 4 yards a carry. He looked faster and stronger than I had ever seen him last year. Probably helps to be on a decent team though, I imagine. Number 5, give me Jonathan Taylor. 1,400 yards and 11 touchdowns in 13 games. He also averaged over 100 yards a game last year. He was looking like Jonathan Taylor from 2021, except he would have done better had he just played the entire year. He might literally be a robot other than the fact that he breaks down sometimes. 4, give me Derrick Henry. Now I wonder what the reception's gonna be on this. I put him at 2 last year and I was called delusional, diabolical. I didn't know ball. And he went on to statistically, pretty much put on his best season ever outside of, not breaking 2,000 yards like he previously did. So now I feel like I might get yelled at for putting him too low, but in reality, it's just a preference. He is literally the definition of a generational running back, but I might even take it a step further and call him a once-in-a-lifetime running back. I don't think we will ever see anybody like Derrick Henry again. I also want to know what he's been eating because this guy is just appearing to get stronger. Okay, moving on to 3 and I guess 2 at the same time because you got to talk about these guys together. We got Bijan Robinson at 3, Jahmyr Gibbs at 2. Now, I wanted to put Bijan at 3. Personally, if I had to pick between the two going forward, I think I would pick Bijan. There's not a wrong answer on that. Now, the reason Jahmyr Gibbs is higher than him is because statistically, Jahmyr Gibbs blew him out of the water last year, which is crazy to think about. These two are so electric, so complete. They both play like healthy Christian McCaffreys. But I am so serious when I say this right now. Jahmyr Gibbs, not only has he been the best running back Detroit's had since Barry Sanders, I know it's early, but he has a legitimate shot to surpass Barry Sanders right now. That is his current trajectory. And number 1 is obviously Braylon Allen. You know I was kidding. Number 1 is obviously Saquon. I know I've mentioned this before, but I've been privileged enough to grow up in the state of Minnesota, and I've been privileged enough to get to watch prime Adrian Peterson, guy who I would consider a top 3 running back of all time at this current moment. I got to watch Derrick Henry break 2,000 yards. I got to see Derrick Henry throw up an unbelievable season last year. I saw Christian McCaffrey haul in 116 catches a couple years ago. What he did last season was the most impressive rushing season I have ever personally witnessed. 345 attempts, averaging 5.8 yards per attempt. 2,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. Averaged 125 yards a game. Also effective in the receiving game when needed. There's just no way, there's no world that he is not the best running back right now. And that is also going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for my ranking of my top 32 running back. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, feel free to give me your feedback in the comments, and please participate in the future Twitter videos that are happening probably this week and next. Make sure to subscribe for more lists. Obviously, I'm going to be doing the wide receivers soon, but in the meantime, I'm also going to get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. I hope you all enjoy your Monday. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next upload.